Hello everyone and welcome to Game 1 of this Europe Steelseries StarCraftSource.com Europe versus America show match series. And Scan, are you with me?
Yes, I am, sir.
Alright, let's do the countdown. So we'll get this game started in 3, 2, 1, go.
So interesting spawn positions here. We're going to have EG Machine as the purple Zerg is going to spawn at the 6 o'clock position, GLHF and GLGL from both players. And spawning over at the 9 o'clock position, we have WhiteRA or Duckload Ra, depending on which one you want to call him. Red Protoss spawning at the 9 o'clock position. And this is interesting here from Machine. Machine is sending his Overlord north as opposed to sending it over the airspace.
Yeah, I'm curious to see why he's doing that. Initially, I would think that a lot of players in these spawn positions, Zerg is going to give away their spawn position by sending that Overlord into that top left corner. When they're doing that, even if they pull their Overlord back, WhiteRA or their opponent could just send the probe or the worker to see that Overlord even when it's pulled back. So he may be just trying to hide the fact that he's spawned here.
First pylon is done from WhiteRA. He is now chrono boosting out just a few more of these probes. Nothing much from either player quite yet. Haven't seen. We are up to 13 count here from Machine. Now up to 14. I would expect him to go for a pool or maybe even save up for a hatch momentarily.
I would be kind of dumbfounded if he actually did go for hatch first, just because he still does not know where WhiteRA is. WhiteRA could be at the close spawn position, and he is going to go pool first, so good. I like that. Hatch first would have been pretty risky considering he has no scouting information yet. WhiteRA's scout, on the other hand, his probe just did make it over to the top 12 o'clock position, so he knows it's not close spawn, and he's going to find his opponent at the last position possible.
And we have our first gas here going up for WhiteRA a bit later than some players tend to like. You see a lot of Protoss players now going for really heavy early gas, getting that second assimilator up by the time that they're going for a gateway. And the gateway, speaking of, has just finisher WhiteRA at the top of his ramp. And again, just a pair of probes mining out of that gas. Not too much thus far from either player.
And because he hasn't found his Zerg opponent yet, he doesn't know if it was hatch first or pool first. He is going to wall off here with that gateway and that cybernetics core. Do like that play. There's going to be room for one zealot to fit there and block. And the probe did just make his way into Machine's base. Machine, of course, part of Team Evil Geniuses. He does see the hatchery is about halfway done, so he knows roughly the timing on that. The pool was already finished, so he knows it was pool first. We'll see how he reacts to that.
Oh, he's sending down a pair of Zerglings to try and fight off this probe. Probe is definitely on the run now, though he stole some minerals while he was running away.
How rude.
Not much else from either player. Single drone making its way back. He had been doing some scouting work, it looks like, inside of WhiteRA's base. But as you said, nice wall off here by WhiteRA with just that one zealot being able to block the way. And
that probe did get out of there, so that's good for him. He got those 5 minerals back to his command center. That steal was effective.
So we do have, yes, the first queen is already down at the expansion of Machine. Looks like Machine built that queen up at his natural and just made its way down there immediately as soon as that hatch was done. I like that, to have that queen there for defense, and he's even building a spine crawler.
I do like that. I would like to see a second queen, though. A lot of players will get their second queen right away. Looks like Machine did delay it just a little bit. Probe and a Zealot going to come in here, but they're not going to get very much damage done. That's just not enough. There's a Spine Crawler that's almost finished. The Zealot's taking quite a few thwacks away here at the Queen. And it looks like he's going to get her down to pretty low health, but
wow,
he wasted a lot of time there running around.
He's getting a ton of damage on this Queen. Queen's forced to run away. That one Zealot finally Spinecrawler hatches and takes it out, but that Queen was down to about 40 health, very close to death.
135 damage done by that Zealot in that little bit of time, so very, very effective. The Spinecrawler finished, though, and was able to get the last hit on that Zealot and take the kill away from the Zerglings.
It looks like WhiteRA is going to start moving down. He's built a pylon at the bottom of his ramp and has a a probe, just waiting there at his natural expansion to drop that Nexus. And there it is, right on cue. Nexus drops down.
So 30 Harvesters to 30 right now, very even on income. But of course, Machines is going to be quite a bit higher because of the fact that he does have the second base up and running already, but the harvester count is level, so once this Nexus does finish for WhiteRA or Duckload Raw, it will be very evened out.
Metabolic Boost is about 3/4 complete now inside of Machine's base. Machine's building up another Spine Crawler at that natural expansion. Both players really seem to be focusing on defense. Make that 3 Spine Crawlers, while at the same time, a Forge is going up outside the natural expansion of WhiteRA, and with all those sentries that were nearby, now making their way across the map to take that southern Selnaga Tower.
Here
It looks
comes
like
a
he's got plenty on
somewhat good-looking offensive here by WhiteRA.
Yeah,
I
wow.
like this opening. Stalkers and Sentries. Sentries with a ton of energy to block off the ramp, or even just to stop the Zerglings from getting us around. WhiteRA's forces poke in, wow, and just retreating, causing Machine to overproduce Spine Crawlers and get a lot of Zerglings out. Stopped his drone production for quite a while. Very effective harassment there by WhiteRA.
Very nice job returning home with that army completely intact. Forge has just finished outside the natural expansion of WhiteRA, and he is chrono boosting out ground weapons level 1. So he wants to get this very, very warp gate focused army as strong as they can before he decides to push in.
Yeah, no robotics facility yet. Lots of chrono boost saved up on the one Nexus. Could probably easily continually chrono boost this ground level 1 upgrades out. And once again, I like this opening. These sentries make him feel very safe to any incoming pressure from Machine.
A ton of roaches on the way now from Machine. Machine's got a bunch of them out in front of his natural expansion, and 8 more are about to hatch. He's also researching Burrow and Galal Reconstitution. I like this. He's going very... But he is researching Burrow, and 6 roaches will be on the field momentarily along with Galal Reconstruction. So we're going to have a pretty strong roach army making its way onto the map.
I do like these roaches. I'm curious to see if he's going to get tunneling claws right after Galal Reconstitution. It makes roaches able to pretty much just juke any force field play that a Protoss player does use. It makes them so ineffective. And the saturation by Machine is actually just fantastic right now. Fully saturated on both bases. WhiteRA's getting there as well. He's got all of his gases almost up. And the income is actually just a little bit higher for Machine right now.
Looks like we have a major push here from Machine with all these roaches. He's going to try and bust his way into the base here of WhiteRA. But WhiteRA is researching Blink. It's way, way too far away for that Blink to be
Plus one
a part
attack
of this
just
fight,
finished. But yeah, Blink is a long way off. And if Machine really wants to push this timing here, I think, before Blink... but I just don't think he has enough to bust that right now. Not with those 4 sentries having full energy. That's a lot of force fields. And with that Twilight Council, he's also getting ground level weapons 2 upgraded from his Forge. So I like this play by WhiteRA. It's allowing him to stay mobile. Blink is an awesome option against Zerg at this point in the game. It really minimalizes the amount of damage that mass roaches can do. You really need to work in some Hydras or some Lings, and he is right now actually working in some Hydras. I do like that.
He's got a nice balanced army. Every major ground unit here of the Zerg is on the field other than Ultra. We've got Hydras, we've got Roaches, we've got Zerglings, which have been upgraded to Speedlings, and a major move across the top of the map here by WhiteRA. Looks like he's moving to defend the 3rd expansion with all of his sentries and Stalkers. If a push were to happen right now, it might be able to slip in.
The Zerglings definitely could do somewhat of a run-by, but his Stalkers aren't very far away. Blink is done, and I like this Zergling that is burrowed right here by WhiteRA's 3rd base. It's going to force him to get an Observer out, which he has, and it is just on the way now, but that's going to stop him from producing anything else from that Robo facility for the time being.
Making their way across the top of the map now is the major army of Machine, just streaming across the northern part of the map. Looks like he's going to try and come in the back and maybe take out this 3rd expansion.
I would have liked to see him put his roaches up to the top and maybe put some pressure on and then do a run-by into the economy of WhiteRA with his Zerglings. But these Hydras, I'm not too sure how effective they're going to be while off creep here. If Machine gets his army out of position and caught in a bad position, these Hydras, of course, cannot retreat, and here comes the engagement.
Major fight happening between. Very nice defensive blink, pulling his units back and getting them onto the high ground.
Yes, these sentries were nowhere near to put down their force fields, which he is going to need to combat this army that Machine does have. A weird blink in there, just allowing all these roaches and hydras to pick off these stalkers very easily. This Hydra Roach army is very effective against mass gate